Hey, what's up guys? In this video we are going to talk about how to implement advanced dynamic data security in tabular model. To implement the advanced dynamic security, I will create three simple tables that we used in my previous videos. Then I will explain you the security scenario that I will be using in this video. We will be using the same security scenario that we already have used in my previous videos. Then I will create few more database objects to implement advanced dynamic security. Once I am done with database objects, I will create a tabular model using these objects and deploy the model. After the deployment, I will show you how to validate security implementation using SQL Server Management Studio. In my last video on dynamic security, we learned how to implement dynamic data security using user permission table and roles. In roles, we used username function and contains function. At the end of my previous video, I shared some of the limitations of that approach. First, whenever you want to include any new column as part of security implementation, you will be required to modify the text expression which is being used in the row filter expression. For example, if you already have implemented security on few columns of same or different dimensions, and then if you try to implement security on one more column, you will need to modify the text expression which is being used in the row filter expression of the role. Second, when you apply security on several columns of various dimensions, row filter text expression will become very complex. For small fact tables, it will cause no issue, but you may see some performance complaint if fact table size grows too much, because their approach will apply row filter on each and every fact table record. If you have not watched my previous videos, I strongly suggest you to watch it. It will help you to understand various aspects of role-based security and dynamic security. In this video, I will show you how we can implement advanced dynamic security using one user permissions table, one security table, and simple text expression in row filter. In this video, I'll show you that with this approach, you will never need to modify row filter text expression in case you need to apply security on few more columns. The main benefit of this approach is performance. I will show you how to design a model in such a way that your security implementation will always perform same irrespective to number of columns on which you have implemented security. I will be using same example that we used in my last video. We have dim country and fact sales table. Fact sales table have country of sales ID and country of purchase ID, which has relationship with dim country table. So dim country table is a role playing dimension. Again, I will insert same set of data in these two tables. In dim country table, I will insert 5 records, and in fact sales table, I will insert 15 records. In fact table, I will insert 3 records for each country of sales, as you can see here. Let me do this. So first I will create dim country table. Now I will create fact sales table. Now I am going to insert 5 records in dim country table, and at last I will insert these 15 records in the fact table. Okay, it's done. On this slide, you can see data from fact table along with country of sales and country of purchase. As I said, I inserted 3 records for each country of sales. once again we have these three users: test user 1, test user 2 and test user 3. Test user 1 wants to access all data where country of sales and country of purchase is Canada. He also wants to access all the data where country of sales is India and country of purchase can be anything. Test user 2 wants to access China sales data irrespective to the country of purchase. He also wants to access all sales data where country of sales is India and country of purchase is either India or Singapore. Test user 3 needs to access all sales data. Let me show you this in more easy way. So here you can see test user 1, test user 2 and test user 3. As I said, test user 1 wants to access all sales data where country of sales and country of purchase is Canada. So here this is the fact table data. Here you can see transaction IDs. So total 15 records. Here we have country of sales and here we have country of purchase. So for test user 1, he actually wants to access first this record because here country of purchase and country of sales both are Canada. So he should have access to this record, and he also wants to access all sales data where country of sales is India and country of purchase can be anything. That means he wants to access these three records. So test user 1 should be able to access these four records. For test user 2, he wants to access all China sales data. That means these three records. And also he wants to access all India sales data where country of purchase is either India or Singapore, which means these two records. And test user 3 wants to access all sales data, which means he must be able to access all this data. So we will be using this security matrix to validate our security implementation. To store these information, I will create few more database objects. First, I will create two tables: dim user permission table and dim security table. After that, I will add security ID column in fact sales table. Then I will populate this column using update statement. At last, I will create user permission view using fact sales table, dim country table, dim user permissions table and dim security table. Let me do this. First I will create dim user permission table. This table has a username along with country of sales and country of purchase. Okay, it's done. Now I am going to insert data into this table. You must notice for username I am following the syntax like domain name / username. Okay, this is also done. Now I'll create a dim security table. In this table, security ID is the primary key, and security ID is also an identity column. Now I'm going to insert data into this table, dim security table. In this table, I will insert all distinct combination of country of sales ID and country of purchase ID from the fact table. Now I'll add one security ID column in the fact sales table. Okay, it's done. Now I'll populate this column using update statement. This is done. And at last, now I'm going to create a view. This view is very important part of this advanced dynamic security implementation. In the inner query, I'm using dim user permission table along with two dim country table. First time I'm using this table to join with country of sales, and second time I'm using this table to join with country of purchase. And you also notice this OR condition. Because of this condition, if any of the column country of sales and country of purchase is null, then this table dim country table will return all the data. In the select clause, I am returning username along with country ID from first dim country table as country of sales ID and country ID from second dim country table as country of purchase ID. In the outer query, I am joining this inner query with dim security table and I am returning only username and security ID. Let me create this. Okay, it's done. Now I'm going to create a tabular model, and I will create exactly this model. So we have fact sales table, and this table has relationship with the dim country table. First time it has relationship with dim country table using country of purchase ID, and second time it has relationship with dim country table with country of sales ID, and the relationship between fact sales table and dim country table is many to one. Fact sales table also has relationship with dim security table, and the relationship is many to one. Dim security table has relationship with dim user permission view, and the relationship is one to many. Let me create the model. So here I have one empty model. So first I will import some tables. In ideal scenario, you should always use service account, but because my service account is not properly set up on my laptop, so I'm using my own authentication. So we will import this table, dim country table, dim security table, dim user permission view, and fact sales table. Let me give them some meaningful name. So dim country table will become dim country of sales, and I'll remove this prefix. So dim user permission is perfect. Okay. It's done. I will import dim country table one more time, and I will name it as dim country of purchase. Dim country of purchase. Okay, it's done. Now I will create some relationship. So we have fact sales table, and to dim country table. The relationship is country of sales ID to dim country of sales table. Country of purchase ID to country of purchase table. This security ID to dim security table. And from dim user permission security ID to dim security table. And now let me hide some of the column that we don't need. For example, this column. We can hide this column. This column as well. This column. Actually, you should hide all the columns that user don't want, otherwise they will get confused. I will also hide this column. And at last I will hide these two columns. And now I will hide dim security table. We don't want user to access this table. Okay, now I'll give some meaningful name. So this column in dim country of sales table will become country of sales, and this column will become country of purchase. Okay, we are good to deploy this model, so let's deploy it. Okay, deployment is done. So I guess you can see our model here. So here we have advanced dynamic security database, and here you can see dim country of purchase, dim country of sale, dim security, dim user permission, and access table. User will not be able to access dim security table because this table is hidden when we created this model in the data tool. To implement security, I will create two roles, standard user role and power user. I will assign test user 1 and test user 2 to standard user role, and test user 3 to power user. Then I will create one row filter on dim user permissions table. This row filter will restrict user to see other users permission data. Then I will create this row filter on dim security table. This row filter will restrict the user to see fetch sales data which he or she is not supposed to see. This filter will actually implement the security. Let me create these roles. First I will create power user role with read only permission, and test user 3 will be part of this role. And here I will not add any row filter because this user wants to see all the sales data. Okay, and then I will create one more role, which is standard user role. With read-only permission, and test user 1 and test user 2 will be part of this role. And here I will add some raw filters. So first I will add raw filter on dim user permission table. Okay, and then I will add one raw filter on dim security table. Okay, it's done. As I said in my previous video, best way to validate security is by using effective username connection string property in Excel pivot table, but it requires that the username must be a domain user and not just the workgroup user. My laptop is not connected to any domain, so I cannot use this method. In this video, I will be using SSMS to validate security. We will just need to open multiple SSMS sessions using multiple user accounts. I already have 3 more SSMS window open, one for each user. This SSMS session is opened using a test user 1 account, as you can see here, and this session is opened using test user account, and this session is opened using test user account. Now I will execute some simple text queries for each user, and we will check whether our security implementation code is working fine or not. So first I will check how much record this user can see from dim user permission table. So here you can see that this user can only see his own data. He cannot see other users' data. Now we'll check how many records from the fact table this user can see. Okay, so this user can see only 4 records, and the transaction IDs are 1789. Let's validate this against this Excel. So as we said, this user must be able to see this record, this record, this and this record, which is 1789, and here we can see that he has access to only these 4 records, 1789. That means our security code is working fine for this user. Let's execute these 2 queries for test user as well. First we'll execute query for dim user permissions table. Okay, as expected, this user can see only his own data. Now check how much records from fact table he can access. Okay, so he has access to 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 transaction ID records. Let's validate this against this matrix. So he should have access to these records where transaction IDs are 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, which means we have no issue with this user as well. Let's execute this query with this user. So because we have not implemented security for test user 3, and as per the definition, test user 3 is a power user, he must be able to access all users data. So here you can see he can access all the data, and from the fact table as well he is able to see all 15 records. So which means that our security implementation is working fine for all individual users. Before I finish this video, let me present you one more last requirement. Let's say along with this data, test user 1 now also wants to see data where country of purchase is United Kingdom and country of sales can be anything. Let me show you this in more easy way. So first I'll copy this old secure data from here to here. Okay, so as per the definition or as per the requirement, what we are saying is test user 1 now wants to access all the data where country of purchase is UK and country of sales can be anything, which means this and this record. So now this user wants to access these 3 more records along with 4 all records. Now I'll show you how we can do this. So here I will insert this simple record for this user, test user 1, and country of sales is null and country of purchase is United Kingdom into the dim user permissions table. Okay, this is done, and now I will reprocess the dim user permissions table. Okay, it's done. Now let's check if our security implementation is still working or not. So earlier we saw that for test user 1, test user 1 was able to access only these 4 records, 1, 7, 8 and 9, and as per this Excel, now he should be able to access 7 records. Let's see what happens. So seems like it's working. So now he can access records where transaction IDs are 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13. So 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11 and 13. So the security implementation is still working fine for this user. So in this video we learned how to implement advanced dynamic security by building a model using dim user permissions table and dim security table. I found this approach one of the best approach. I'm using this approach since last 2 years, and so far I never encountered any performance issue. This video ends here. I hope you enjoyed. Your suggestions and comments are most welcome. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section, and please subscribe